Welcome to the Enchanted Lighthouse, where every week magical stories and new adventures await. Join our group of 7 wonderful animal friends as they bring tales about friendship, mystery, and wonder to life. From unexpected guests to heartfelt conversations under the moonlit sky, each story holds a gentle truth. We are so glad that you are here. Now let us begin. The camping ground. The first warm weekend of spring. After many cold and windy weeks, spring finally arrived at Aurora's watch. Not fully, not at once, but enough. The air smelled softer. Small flowers had begun to appear between the cliff stones, and the sea no longer carried winter's sharp bite. One morning, while everyone gathered for breakfast, Lumi looked up from the weather forecast she had copied into her notebook. Her eyes widened slightly. "The first warm weekend of spring is coming," she announced. "Sunny skies, gentle winds, no rain." Seppi nearly dropped his spoon. "A camping trip," he shouted immediately. Hazel's tail puffed excitedly. "To Willow Mist Shores!" Milo grinned. "Now that sounds better than staying indoors." Theo smiled warmly at the excitement filling the kitchen. "Well," he said, "it seems the decision has already been made." The tents in the attic. The lighthouse attic was dusty but full of forgotten treasures. Old lanterns, folded maps, weathered trunks. And tucked against the far wall, "There they are!" Hazel exclaimed. 3 camping tents. They carefully carried them downstairs, shaking out years of dust and laughing when Milo accidentally got tangled in one of the tent ropes. Zoe packed snacks and fresh bread. Hazel organized supplies. Olivia rolled blankets tightly. Lumi checked the weather one more time, just in case. Seppi carried far too many marshmallows. By afternoon they were ready. Backpacks filled, lanterns packed, tents secured. And together, the lighthouse friends set off toward Willow Mist Shores. Camp beneath the pines. Willow Mist Shores looked completely different in spring. The mist was thinner now, drifting gently between tall trees. Sunlight reached the forest floor in warm golden patches, and birdsong echoed softly through the woods. "This is perfect," Zoe whispered. Near the edge of the shore, they found a peaceful clearing surrounded by pine trees. "That's our spot," Theo said. The afternoon passed happily. The tents were raised carefully. Hazel collected firewood. Milo tried to improve the tent instructions and only confused everyone further. Seppi skipped between the trees, humming to himself. As evening settled in, they built a campfire. Its warm glow flickered against the darkening forest while the sea whispered quietly nearby. Before dinner, Theo helped place their food into 2 sturdy locked boxes. "Camping rule," he explained. "Never leave food out overnight." "Especially not with Seppi around," Milo teased. Seppi gasped dramatically. "I would never steal midnight snacks." Everyone laughed. Stories around the fire. Night settled softly over Willow Mist Shores. The fire crackled warmly while sparks drifted into the starry sky. Wrapped in blankets, the friends sat close together sharing stories. Olivia told a quiet tale about rare moonflowers that only bloomed during full moon nights. Hazel shared childhood memories of climbing rain-soaked trees. Milo dramatically retold a story that became more exaggerated every minute. "That is not how it happened," Lumi interrupted calmly. "It is, in my version," Milo replied proudly. Even Theo laughed. The warmth of the fire, the smell of pine trees, and the peaceful sound of waves made the whole evening feel gentle and safe. Eventually, one by one, the friends grew sleepy. The fire dimmed, lanterns were lowered, and soon the campground grew quiet beneath the stars. The mysterious intruder. Morning arrived bright and golden. Birds chirped loudly overhead while sunlight filtered through the tents. Seppi crawled outside first, then froze. Theo?" The others emerged sleepily. One of the food boxes had been cracked open, completely. The lid hung crookedly beside it, and nearly all of the food inside was gone. "What happened?" Hazel asked. Milo crouched near the ground. "Footprints," he said quietly. "Large ones." The track disappeared into the trees. Seppi looked nervous. "Something was here while we slept?" Theo examined the broken box calmly. "Whatever it was," he said softly, "it was probably hungry." Still, everyone felt a little uneasy. They checked the second food box carefully and moved it closer to the tents. "That one stays locked," Hazel declared firmly. Waiting in the darkness. That night the forest felt different. Not dangerous, just watchful. The friends sat around the fire a little longer than usual, listening carefully whenever branches rustled nearby. Eventually, everyone headed into the tents. But Theo stayed awake, just in case. Hours passed quietly. Then, crunch, a sound near the food box. Theo slowly unzipped the tent and stepped outside into the moonlight. Near the second box stood an enormous grizzly bear. He was carefully, though not very successfully, trying to pry the lid open. Theo blinked. "Excuse me," he said calmly. "That's our food." The bear froze instantly. Slowly he turned around. "Oh," he muttered awkwardly. Up close he looked less frightening than exhausted. His fur was messy, and his eyes carried the heavy look of someone who traveled far. "I'm sorry," the bear said quietly. "My name is Gregory." By now the others had peeked out from their tents. Gregory lowered his head slightly. "I just woke up from hibernation," he explained. "Food has been hard to find this spring." "I wasn't trying to scare anyone." Theo's warm glow softened the clearing. "Thank you for telling the truth," he said gently. Gregory looked embarrassed. "I shouldn't have taken your food." There was a quiet pause. Then Theo smiled kindly. "Well, Tomorrow is our last camping day. Gregory blinked. And perhaps, Theo continued, you could join us for dinner instead of stealing it. The bear stared in surprise. You would share with me? Of course, Zoe said softly from the tent entrance. Everyone deserves a warm meal. Gregory's eyes softened immediately. The last night around the fire. The final evening of the camping trip felt warmer than ever. Gregory helped gather extra firewood, while Hazel repaired the damaged food box. Soon the campfire glowed brightly once more. This time there was one more friend sitting beside it. Gregory turned out to be gentle, thoughtful, and surprisingly funny. He shared stories about the mountains, where he spent winter hibernating. Seppi listened wide-eyed, while strumming his little ukulele beside the fire. Soon he began softly singing silly camping songs that made everyone laugh. Even Gregory chuckled deeply. The forest no longer felt mysterious or uncertain. It felt shared, safe, and warm. As the fire crackled beneath the spring stars, Theo looked around the circle quietly. Moments like this, he thought, were what made adventures meaningful. Not perfect plans, not perfect weekends, but kindness shared around a fire. Home again. The next morning the friends packed their tents slowly. The forest smelled fresh after the cool night air and sunlight shimmered through the trees. Gregory helped carry supplies back toward the trail. Before they parted ways, Hazel handed him a small lantern. So you don't have to wander in the dark alone, she said. Gregory smiled softly. Thank you, he said, for the food and for trusting me. Theo nodded warmly. Take care of yourself, Gregory. And if you ever visit Aurora's watch, Seppi added proudly, bring marshmallows. Everyone laughed. Then the lighthouse friends began the journey home together. Tired, happy, and filled with new memories. Every story has something to teach us. What did we learn today? We have learned that sometimes what first seems frightening is simply someone in need of kindness. Sharing what we have, a meal, a fire, or even just understanding, can turn strangers into friends and make the world feel a little warmer for everyone. Thank you for stopping by here today. If you enjoyed this episode, give it a like and don't forget to come back next week for a brand new adventurous story. Want to learn more about the magical tenants who live here? Visit enchantedlighthouse.com for a mystical map, creative artwork, and a few special gifts. Until then, be kind and share your light. See you next time.